So in this short video, I'll be talking about the Aqua Simulacra, the new 5-star bow that's specifically a signature weapon for Yelan on the screen here. So as you may know, I was very lucky and I got Yelan on day 1, and I was super lucky again and I got Aqua Simulacra right after, basically, with basically whatever wishes that I had saved up over the 2.6, 2.7 delay period a few weeks ago. So I'm super happy because I did not have to spend any money for it other than what I already had based on the Welkin, etc. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So this is specifically going to be about the Aqua Simulacra as an objective opinion, a review of the weapon compared to other bows. Basically, it is the best bow in the game right now, okay? It is the best 5-star bow in the game, hands down, okay? And this is not specifically a discussion of this bow in terms of Yelan only. This is meant to be a bow for all the bow characters. So we will be talking about all of the bow characters briefly while we're talking about the bow weapons as well, just so we're clear. If you are interested though in a Yelan review, I did just post one right before this video, so do check that out. I go into a lot more detail there, and it is an updated version of what I had talked about previous to her release officially, so do check that out. I also posted a very short video to show a 2.7 redeem code that is currently available. It has not expired yet. I just redeemed it earlier today. I posted that short video. There is no voiceover, but it is very short and it's all in the title and the description, everything. So go right for it. All right, so let's get to it, okay? And before we do, make sure that you guys are subscribed. You hit the like button and you comment and let me know below. Did you guys go for the Aqua Simulacra? Are you going to? Do all of that, please. And check out my other videos where I talk about the banner specifically for Xiao's rerun banner, his second rerun, third overall banner, Yelan's debut banner, as well as the Aqua Simulacra debut banner and the Primordial Jade Wing Spear rerun banner. I talk about all of that there, but this is not about that. This is about Aqua Simulacra in general, and this video is meant to be kind of like an evergreen video that will be talking about this bow in comparison to other bows that are currently in the game and why it's the best bow in the game right now, basically. So let's get right to it. So, of course, Aqua Simulacra is the best bow for her, but that doesn't mean that we should restrict ourselves to only talking about her, right? For Yelan. So let's just make it clear. Why is this the best bow in the game? Well, first of all, let's start with the base attack. It's not the highest, but it's quite decent, okay? The crit damage is really where the gold is here. It's 88%, okay? And it's super high, one of the highest in the whole game, of course. I think it is at like right up there. And then the passive is really awesome. It's straightforward. It's just HP increase and then a damage increased as well, basically, okay? Long story short. This is like the, what do you call it? The Staff of Homa bow pole arm for the bow, basically. So like here, hang on here. Yes. So this one, even this doesn't even have as high crit damage as that one. This is 66 only. And the Staff of Homa similarly is an HP increase. Now that Aqua Simulacra's HP increase is only 16% as we saw. And this one's passive is slightly different than that one. But the idea is the same, right? With a high crit damage, this one is lower crit damage, but higher base attack. But, you know, you get the picture, all right? There's a balance there. And then the passive. So basically, this is like the Homa version of a bow, okay? Or the bow's version of Homa, okay? And therefore, that is why this one is actually a very universal weapon for most of your sub DPS, your DPS, and your support DPS bow characters. Similar to how the Staff of Homa is a very awesome polearm that is really good for pretty much all the polearm characters that you would use that need, for example, like damage, of course, not the support ones we're talking about. We're talking about sub DPS, support DPS, not for like just pure support, okay, and DPS. So that's why this is amazing. So that's kind of like the thing right there we're talking about. But then like specifically, we're not talking about Yelan specifically, but we're talking about how does this compare. So the only other bow currently in the game that is, I don't know about the 3-star bows because I don't have them right now, but that has a crit stat that's 4-star that is achievable through the Paimon shop is the Black Cliff. And this one is a very good placeholder. I've always loved the Black Cliff weapons. They're very good for free-to-play, early game, mid-game, even the early late game, like when you're just AR 50s, like the early 50s. This is still a good weapon. The only problem is the passive is not sustainable. You do need to kill enemies in order to get the passive bonus, and if you're fighting a boss, or an elite character, elite enemy or character, their opponent, there will not be obviously the bonus because you have to kill them in order to get the bonus. So, but as a stat stick, this is okay, right? So obviously the Aqua is better than those, right? But if we compare this to other 5-star weapons, what do we have really? So I do want to point out that the Thundering Pulse is a very niche weapon that's very specific for Yoimiya. And at one point in before Polar Star came out, I actually gave Thundering Pulse to Child because I was using Child more than Yoimiya, and Yoimiya was using Rust. So those are really, and Rust was also a really good weapon that I had on Child as well. So those are interchangeable weapons in my opinion for those characters, but that's just because their playstyle requires it. Okay. Similarly, Polar Star is a very specific weapon for Child, but it can work, for obviously other characters too. But the reason why Aqua is better than those two is because Aqua is more universal. These are like specific. In order for the Polar Star to work, you would have to like proc basically one of each thing. You have to do one normal attack, one charge attack, one elemental skill, and one elemental burst. Not every character is suitable to do all of that, but Child works, right? Similarly, for Yoimiya, her Thundering Pulse, she needs to do lots of basically rapid fire like normal attacks to get the maximum damage here, basically, more or less, right? So again, it's not suitable. Again, to get this, you have to basically use a normal attack, you have to cast an elemental skill, right? And you also have to have not as much energy, or you have to use some of the energy, basically. So then it's not meant for her, okay? So hence, this is a more straightforward weapon. It's just HP and attack bonus and crit damage subset. It's really good. Now, the only other weapon that I think is also just as universal, but may not be the best weapon for everyone, is because the other one that's is the elegy here. This one is very universal as well, but again, it's not universal in the sense that it's because it's elemental mastery, and right when you hear elemental mastery, you'll know, oh, that doesn't really apply to Geo characters, for example, right? So in the passive I'm talking about. And then energy recharge, of course, is universal, and this bow is amazing, right? And then you get an attack bonus at the end as well. But then the point is, elemental mastery does not apply for Geo. Now, of course, right now in the game, there's only Goro, so it doesn't really matter, right? You wouldn't give Goro this anyway. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of universality, this Aqua is easier for every character to use. Like, you can use this on Yoimiya. It won't be her best, of course, but you'll use it on her. You can use it on Child. You could even use it on Venti if you build him as a DPS or sub DPS instead of just a pure support where he does his thing and gets off the field, right? So that's fine. It's not going to be the best per se for example, Ganyu, but she wouldn't mind it though with the crit damage. For sure, she would be happy with that. But it's just that it's specifically not about like charge attacks, but it's fine. She'll still get the damage bonus, etc. So that's okay. But yeah, of course, hers is the best is Amos, and Amos is the easiest to compare in terms of 5-star because Thundering Pulse, Polar Star, and Elegy are actually very niche weapons that not everyone will go for or have. But Amos Bow is a standard 5-star weapon that many people may have just from saving up wishes or just pulling on the standard banner over time by just playing this game, right? Every month we get some Paimon wishes, right? You know, and when you go do the battle pass or you pick up things throughout the events, you might get some as well. So then, like, it's really easy to get this eventually, or by losing the 50-50 on the standard, oh sorry, not standard banner, the weapon banner, right? Then there you go. You could possibly get this too. That's why I ended up with 2 as well, right? So this is the easiest to compare, and I would say this is also very, not even as universal because it requires the character that you're equipping this on to utilize normal and charge attacks. And some characters like Yelan, unless you use her that way, I don't use her that way, I use her for her skill and her burst only. So therefore, it's kind of a moot point there. Now, moving on to, there's one 5-star that I don't actually have, and it's a Skyward Harp. That is an amazing weapon with a crit rate substat, and the passive is quite good as well. That one is also very universal, just like any of the other Skyward weapons. So just to briefly talk about that, that is also a very good weapon. But then I would say that this Aqua one is better than that one now. So if you had to compare like the most universal 5-star bows, it would have to be this one, and then it would probably be Skyward Harp perhaps, and then it would be Elegy, because Skyward Harp doesn't have like a requirement on which kind of character would be useful, whereas Elegy would kind of rule out the one Geo character that we currently have. But what if there's future Geo bow characters? We don't know, right? So yeah. And then now let's talk about 4-star weapons. So like Moon's Moon is a very limited weapon. It's from the Inazuma region, and it is a limited series special weapon. This is an amazing burst special weapon. Again, I only got one of them, so it's very hard to get it to high refines. But if you can get this to high refines, this is going to be an amazing weapon for any burst DPS characters. Moving along, this is the craftable from Inazuma Hamayumi. This is like a mini Amos bow. So basically whatever I just said about Amos bow right now is going to be applicable to this. So again, this, as you can see, is a normal and charge focus attack bow, so it may not apply to every character. Windbloom Ode is an older weapon. It's from 1.6. I'm going to talk about this in tandem with Stringless, which I just recently did as well on Yelan's review. But basically, to sum it up, these two are the same. As you can see, the Elemental Mastery is the same and the base attack is the same. The only difference is the passive. So then this one is an Elemental Skill with an attack bonus, and this one is an Elemental Skill and attack burst, Elemental Burst bonus. So this one, Stringless, is better than the Ode, and not many people will have this unless you're an older player like myself, where you played through all the different versions, because this was a 1.4 specific weapon. So Stringless is a really good weapon, and for specifically characters like Yelan, this is a great weapon. Yelan would do well with a Skyward Harp. She would also do well with the Elegy and the Moten's Moon above, as I talked about as well. So Stringless is also a really amazing weapon for her if that's what you're focusing on. But Stringless is a really good weapon for Venti and also for Fischl and for other characters that can proc Elemental Mastery, proc Elemental reactions with the Elemental Mastery. So this is quite good. Now, Favonius Warbow, we get one copy for free in the game, so don't worry if you're going to be completely strictly F2P. This is a very universal weapon, just like any other Favonius weapon. I'm going to talk about that in tandem with the Sacrificial here. They're both universal. The only difference is Sacrificial has higher base attack and lower energy recharge, and Favonius has higher energy recharge and lower base attack. Favonius also requires you to build them with crit rate so that they can proc the passive to get crit hits to get more energy back. Keep that in mind. And therefore, it's very specific and limiting, perhaps, but it's a very universal weapon. Sacrificial Bow, the benefit is you could possibly proc an elemental skill more than once, so twice, basically. So that's not bad as well. Now, we talked about the Rust kind of briefly now earlier, but I will say the Rust is a normal attack specific focus weapon. So again, certain characters like Child would benefit from this, but also because of the stats that it has, but also, for example, Yoimiya does really well with this weapon as well. Blackcliff Warbow is a very good placeholder, just like the Skyward weapons. This I recommend. I talked about this earlier already, but basically, yeah, just make sure that this is something that you have on your radar if you're interested in collecting them over time from the Paimon shop. And then Compound Bow is a very physical damage heavy bonus weapon, and it has a normal and charge attack aspect to it too. This is a very niche weapon again, hence I don't even level this up, but I do have it for collection purposes, and I just put it on Amber. I don't use her, but I'm just saying this could be a really good option for free to play, craftable, and for specific characters that you want to increase physical damage and you use their normal and charge attack. So some people have used this in the past on Ganyu, although it's not obviously their best, but people have used it. They've used it on, of course, Fischl, and they've used it on other characters like Aloy, and basically the 4-star characters are more popular with this one. And then lastly, we have Alley Hunter. Alley Hunter is like a Mondstadt specific region limited series weapon. I only have one of them here. I actually at one point had a second one that I foddered way early in the game because I didn't think that it was useful. This is only going to be useful for off-field DPS or off-field characters such as Fischl, where she can leave Oz on the field, and also Yelan, where her dice is on the field. So this could be okay, but again, it's a limited series weapon that only comes back every so often, and not everybody went for this or has this up to high refines either, or even leveled this up even. I'm keeping it for collection purposes because clearly I got a second one, so I might as well just keep it for now. So yeah. Anyway, so that's my summary of Aqua Simulacra. Again, I think that it's the best universal and best overall 5-star bow weapon in the game, and it is going to be useful for a variety of characters, as I've just mentioned, and you can go no wrong here. There is one more weapon that is out right now for 2.7. I don't have it yet, as you can see. I haven't started the story quest yet. It's the Fading Twilight. The Fading Twilight will be an energy recharge focused weapon for the substat, and it has an attack damage bonus, and basically it's going to be a universal weapon for supports and sub DPS characters, and that's going to be great as well. That's going to be good for even Yelan. It's going to be good for Fischl. It's going to be good for Kujo Sara. It's going to be good for a variety of characters, and that's a great weapon to have. So make sure that you guys complete the event, which I intend to, and get it to to R5, of course, and level up during the event period to benefit from the 1.5 times event experience bonus. where you can use less experience resources basically. And I will be, once I get it, I will do a review of that too. And similar to this video, I'll compare it to other bows as well. But because that's a 4-star bow, there's no reason to compare it really too harsh with 5-star bows. I'll compare it more to other 4-star bows in general. So stay tuned for that in the future. Now, if you are interested again, please do check out my yelan review for C0. Check out my banner discussions about the 2 banners that are currently available for phase 1 of version 2.7, as well as please stay tuned. The next video after this, I will be talking about the Primordial Jade Wing Spear. That's a weapon that's been around since the beginning of the game, but I've never actually done a video specifically for it. And so I'd like to create this, that's why I'm doing this series of evergreen kind of content for weapons that are in the game. So anyway, if you're interested, make sure that you stay tuned and subscribed, and that you also hit the notification bell and leave me comments and questions. What did you guys think about the Aqua Simulacra? Are you guys going for this weapon? Do you have this weapon? Do you have it at high refines? Are you skipping this weapon? What do you guys think? Let me know in general. But I think that this is an amazing, amazing weapon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.